Yeah. All right. All right. I think with that, I should be done. There's one more thing. There's always one more thing. I should probably get a check, like a checklist to go through before I start streaming. I've been thinking of it, but multiple times. But yeah, sure people recognize themselves in that. The idea of, hey, I'm going to do all these things, and I probably should create a checklist, and or not even checklist, could be anything. And the thought, I should do these things, and you don't do it. Classic. It's the same thing every morning. I feel like everything's clogged up. I'm not sure how to fix that. Right. The goal. What is the goal for the day? Well, one thing is clear. I have no, and not enough, I should say. I have one idea of how to make this game or how I want to make it, the look and everything. But I still feel I need more. If that makes sense. So I'm going to go through more reference images today. And the game dev, of course, I need to look into that. So that is the goal for the day. And I think the easiest one would be to start with just starting to sort out what we did last stream, a few things. And we do have these old men. Oh, right, we can do that first. So I'm just going to grab these. Go to image. No, not arrange, normalize. By size, there we go. Now they should be roughly the same in size, at least on a few sides. Was that the only two old man images? All right. And the big reason why I picked these is just to show the mess. A bit of inspiration. You have these things. This thing is cool. You have the wall of tools, of course. This is the same guy. Oh, it is the same guy. All right. I think it is. The mess type of thing, we're not going to go into that. I don't want to scatter hundreds of small toys or whatever. So we're going to have it more clean, at least cleaner than this type of scenes. No ill towards this guy, but it is a mess. Again, I think I said this last time too. You know, this old man has the, like, he knows everything. If you ask him for something, or he can tell you where everything is, I guarantee it. Or he knows roughly where it is. I can find it within a few minutes. I would be surprised. All right, we have some tools. We have this. I kind of like the atmosphere of this one. It's not as much anything else, apart from maybe the look, the look of these toys. Sorry about the cough in your ear. That's cool. This one, yeah, I mentioned it last time. It is an AI. I think we could still get away with it in the sense of, to be clear, one second. So I want to be clear when it comes to AI and the use, my view of use of AI with game dev. There are certain parts of game dev or making games in general where you want the human to make the decision and make this thing, right? And that comes down to things like actually writing down ideas or actually making stuff. That's where I stand in this case, or I need to add a bit more to that argument. When I stand, I should put it like this. I find AI to be a tool, not the creator itself or themselves. So if you can use AI within a means of similar how to you would use a tool to speed up certain things, still don't not removing that human touch though. That's an important part. I guess that's my main argument. I still want the human touch. And why I then accept this image is that I believe, as far as I can tell, it is a original photo that's been touched up by AI. It's not generated by AI. Does that make sense? Who knows? This is still, though, partly too new, but there's a few plays, a few things I can feel like could be a good source of inspiration, but I need to be careful. The time period I'm thinking of probably didn't have a lot of these things, so I need to look that up. But yeah, we're going to keep it. We're going to move these aside. These are more for shop. We have this in probably, assuming this is also AI modified. It feels very much the same. We have this thing, which is mess. We have progress stuff. We have old stuff. This one was cool because or last time I looked at this, I felt this could be, with heavy modification, a cool base or reference for a cover image or cover art or something along those lines. Not sure if we were going to make cover art, probably, but who knows. How about that one? Yeah. Cover art. There we go. Let's see if we can't skip this one. There we go. We got this, this. We got this. This is the weird one. I do like the palette of it. And we have all of these. That's more layout rooms. That looks. Oh, I didn't. Did I bring that with me? Oh, I did. It's just I have two of them. Let's do that. So, I think this one is more the mood I'm going for. That's AI, isn't it? It feels AI. Let's have a look. Does this make sense? No, I don't. I don't think it is. Everything kind of makes sense. I don't see anything that blends, melts together. All right. So this one will be more of a mood type. So let's add that. Oh, I do have a mood down here. Do I not? I need to sort these out. Which one of these will be like the main mood? Oh, good question. We have this guy. I'm just going to throw this one together with kind of the, like a misc, like a random, like a, I don't know what to call it. I'm not sure. It is a group by itself, though. So, yeah. These will be together with these, I believe. And then we have all of these. What would that? This one is kind of weird. Not sure where to put that. It's not really in the progress. This one has been out there. Has been going through things. And these would all be kind of workshop related. Not sure what to do with these. So let's have them be part of kind of the MISC stuff. Smooth this. So what are all of these? I guess we can just call these workshop related stuff. God damn. There we go. And select all, go to 36. So let's see. Oh, hello. Hello. When did that happen? Can I undo that? I don't want them to be connected to this. Can I? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, wait, is that some kind of... Can I do this? Oh, is that a group thing? Oh, I think it is. Oh, okay, fair enough. How do I ungroup it? Okay, I think I know how. Okay, so there's a button up here that you can unlock and unlock a group. Oh, nice. Uh, no, why? Why is everything connected to this thing? Can I not do the hierarchy? Control J. Oh, ooh, this is new. Hello. Can I do that? And now you're not connected anymore. Oh, awesome. Untitled. I didn't know this is a thing. That is perfect, not to be honest. Cool. Then we're gonna pick all of these. Just make that a group. Perfect. Oh, I like this. Group these. Oh, it's even grouping in the hierarchy or outliner. This is a nice touch. About that. About this. I guess this one can also be part of these. This it makes everything so much easier. All right, so toys. I'm gonna put them together with all the images down here. Can I do? I can't do that. Do I need to? Oh, I kind of want to conclude them all. There you go. I think. No, that made the group in the group. Awesome. But I can always just move that around. All right. Cool. Is that all of them? It is. All right. So let's do further sorting. So we're going to put this to the top. Unlock. Is it unlocked now? It is. Okay. No. Okay, that is a downside. Let's just do this. And that. Oh, it's also updating automatically. Cool. This is a new toy. Love it. Move this. Like so. That is expanding the entire thing. Okay. Let's add to this. Can I do that? And it's automatically adding it too. Awesome. This will be a mood. Not mode. Mood. That has two O's. If I'm not mistaken. There we go. Moment order snapped. All right. So this is my idea. I love layers of fear. So we're going to add that, by the way. We're going to add a layers of fear. I believe most of these are from layers of fear. Maybe not all of them, but most. That seems to be the main game I'm kind of focusing on visually. I like the style of it. So move this down. Then we have a few, maybe a bit more random. I'm not entirely sure anymore about this green color, but again, it shows that dilapidated mood and things I want to go for. These are a bit more. They don't really follow that subtleness that I'm looking for. So we might not use that. Maybe I should do like be more like kill a few of these. You know, the kill the darling concept. I did like these at some point, but now looking at what I'm probably will have as a design pillar, which is a subtleness uh, idea of being subtle rather than extravagant or spectacular. So I'm thinking that it needs to go. I mean, this is as far from subtle you can get. that's that's not very subtle, is it? But I think the idea he represents, which is this moment in the story where you can obviously see the artist just all right, he's gone. His mind has snapped. So my thought was while I was looking at this image that what if you have this kind of slow progression into madness, and at some point the player comes across not exactly this, but close to it, a monument that goes from what, like, oh well, I'm starting to be worried to what the hell? What is this? What's going on? And after that, everything starts to be less subtle, less not completely gone, but because a bit more obvious to the player that all right, I get it. Something's really not right here. And I think I got a good idea the other day, or some great inspiration while I was walking. Highly recommended, by the way. If you feel stuck, this works really well for me. If I'm ever stuck, can't really feel like I'm being able to think. Well, it's cloudy, right? What I do is just take a pause, go outside, go for a walk for 20 to 40 minutes. And during that time, if I have a thought when I left, like the game, usually I will come up with something that improves on that concept, whatever it was. It doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna move this till it kind of fits. OCD's things. So yeah, highly recommend. If you feel stuck, just go for a walk. Try it. You'll be surprised how well it works. All right, lock that. These two, as a mood board, I guess they are as good as will ever be, at least initially. So we can leave that be. How about this? So workshop wise, I like the that should probably be actually be part of in progress rather than workshop. Where are you? In progress stalls. Which one's that? Of course, it's at the top. Can I? Oh, I don't like when. Yeah, okay, I could do it. Sometimes you can't scroll in a window or in an outliner. I really don't like that. I prefer when you can just scroll. You're locked, of course you are. How about that? There we go. All right. So we do have these, and some might be AI. Well, at least we know one is. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to ignore that. You will see me find AI references in the future. However, like I mentioned, I will be quite harsh on AI stuff in the sense that I want something. I don't want to see things in the image that just doesn't make sense. If that happens, I'm just no more. But these are different. These are more moods, and I find inspiration in the idea that these. So, I mean, like I said, these are likely taken a real photo, then added some kind of filter with AI on top. That's the feeling I get from them. Therefore, I'm going to keep them. It's not big deal for me. We need to find proper blueprints. These are not great for the project. Um, let's do a to do. Let's just do this. Find, what should we call it? Not relevant, although that is kind of the word I'm looking for. More themed type of blueprints. So let's do find blueprints fitting of the theme. That's terrible English. English. Hello, dudes. I can speak English. Can you? I don't know what accent that was, but it was something. All right. What else? So what is it with these? I mean, we need to avoid more modern stuff, like the lights. Um, I think I see some kind of plastic or rubber hose type of things. That is, I mean, from the time I'm thinking there might have been boxes like these, but I would say they're probably rare. So we're kind of ignoring that. I like all of these things that in the hanging from the rooftop. Is that how we say it? I don't know. Either way. That's nice. Yes. The idea of having photos hanging around. Yes, absolutely. What else do we have? I don't know how we can. I don't know how far we can go with this one. It feels like a silver smithy. Is that what I'm looking at? You can see these metal cans. There's more of them. It is a workshop. I'm thinking it's likely someone who mends or creates these ornaments. So again, we might be careful what we're doing here, but I like the chair. How about that? Let's write down what we like with these things. Let's do worn down. What's the name of that type of chair? Stool? Is that the name of it? I think it is. This is two O's. Worn down chair, stool. I like that. I mean, we're back to that messy thing, so a few of these could probably, especially as we progress through the game, right? You would have more and more of a mess. Let's just write down the mess for progression. I guess I'm just writing down stuff. I should probably be more specific. I'm just going to keep it at this. Because I had the thought of liking that chair. The roof is nice. The worn down paint could be cool. I need to look up, do we have these type of things from the era? I need to decide on which era or time I'm going for. I think in my mind, the like 19th century or 1800s feels reasonable. Or maybe I should just make up something, just pick a type of style. Don't really go into much details on when it's from. I don't know. We're gonna have ads in like 20 seconds. And during that time, I'm gonna fill up on my coffee and just stretches. I haven't been sitting enough to be really stiff yet, but you can never be too careful. I think these fine. Let's go down here and see. So random ref. I'm just gonna make this like so. Move it up. Move it to the side. Yeah, these are definitely more random. I'm gonna delete this one. It's too Tim Burton for this collage. What I want to call it. Like so. Can I without launching? Nope. So I can't really adjust that. Okay. Random refs. Yeah. I'm also thinking, should I delete this one or should I have it? I'm thinking at points I might want to see what's outside. All right, we got some ads. I'll be right back. Grabbing some coffee. Coffee. Do love it. I do all enjoy coffee. Mm. Do you have... Do you, do you drink coffee black? Nothing in it? Or do you have sugar? Do you have honey? I've tried... Well, that's the most special one I've tried. Well, it's not special. That's way too up there. I had this thing a few years ago. I haven't done it in a while. Where during the Christmas holidays, I used to add cinnamon, just a little bit of cinnamon at the top. It does give a bit of a Christmas feeling to it. Twitch, welcome back. So that would mean we've done with ads for now. I'm also thinking those falling ads text. YouTube, you might not see it because I'm considering, well, now you might be in the future if you're looking at the VOD. I'm considering removing that completely from VODs. Don't see why you should see those ad break stuff, unless I'm saying something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But I'll also considering removing that animation. I'm not sure what to go for. I don't want to be like everyone else. Not that that is a problem. Just want to do something that's mine. And usually you would have like above a scrolling text going from usually right to left. I don't know. I do not know. We'll figure something out. So random ref, I think you're done. So can I do that? Yes. So what else do we have? What else do we have? I was also considering moving everything, all of this mood board stuff over to Miro or something similar. But yeah, maybe not. Let's hide the hierarchy. Can I do that? What is it? Control J. That's weird. All right. To do these things. All right. So what to do? This one feels more random. Maybe I should move that to random. I should. This is more random. Did it add? I think it did. Oh, it did. Cool. Da, da, da. Oh, could I change the colors? Can I do that? Oh, the background. I don't want to change the background. How about that? Why? Oh, there we go. Oh, cool. You know, let's do that. Let's have this color. I like it. Oh. Did I accidentally go max? I think I did. Mode. There we go. Yep. All right. Oh, something else happened. Damn it. There we go. Nope, not fully. How about that? Yep. All right, I'm gonna go rush through these and update the colors of the text just to make it easier for me to tell what's going on. Let's do that. Let's do that. Go. Awesome. I'm really liking these. Again, I can't recommend this enough. It's really good software. And again, it is free, which is absolutely fantastic. I think it's kind of like an industry standard, to be honest. Or at least it used to be very popular. Not sure about now. All right, so in progress dolls. Yeah, I guess we can call it that. How about we gonna do this in progress? Let's call it creations. So we can add more to it in the future. I'm gonna do that. Like so, and there we go. Perfect. Can have that at the top. Can move this. This is more random. To be honest, that's probably more random than it is part of this. So let's move it over to this side. What else? That is also not really the look we're going for. Should I delete it? And here's my reasoning. Oh, so I have two reasons. One for why I should keep it, one for why I should delete it. One is there's some inspiration I can do for like hanging up dolls to make them feel as if he's trying out poses, trying out how real they feel, things like that. But then you have the head, and I'm guessing proportions in general on this thing isn't really what I'm going for. Consecutive decision, 1, 2, 3, it's gone. Yep, it's gone. I need more uncanny stuff. Kind of similar. To be honest, this thing should probably end up more in workshop rather than in progress creations. Yeah. Probably that one too. Let's move these to in progress instead. And another thing we should do, let's script back the hierarchy. Let's do, how about this? Let's move this up. And that, do this. Select all of the images, go to this, normalize, size. It's already normalized, all right, fair enough. Or because it's in a group, it's not working. Either way, perfect. Let's leave it at that. Yep, awesome. So we need to increase whatever, like that. All right, try that one more time. We need to increase the number of images in this one. Or we could do this. Creations. Come on. Let's do that. And I'm going to unlock. I'm going to grab all these. Oh, wait, do I need to unlock this first? No, it was unlocked. There we go. There we go. I do still feel that we need more on dolls. Other than that, this looks great. Let's fix this part first. Do I need to unlock? I might have to. All right. Go. Oh, it didn't work. Neither did that. Why not? Because I had to have it selected. Makes sense. Awesome. There we go. There we go. All right. So we're going to go to, oh, I missed one. We're going to go to Pinterest. I think that is main source. I did mention yesterday that I find it less usable nowadays. I've already touched on why, AI stuff, but a lot of these were taken from Pinterest and it is working. Mood stuff, everything like that. So we're going to go to Pinterest, going to grab some new photos and see if we can't find more like progression stuff of dolls and just in general creepy dolls. So that means, is that coming through, by the way? No, it's not. That's great. Let's go to this. This is my the game dock. We can have a better look at that in a second. I should probably log in, shouldn't I? Can I do this? I can. Here we go. Probably a mistake. Should probably done this off screen. Okay. I think that's enough. Some old search results. Right. That's kind of cool, to be honest. Maybe I should create a new billboard, whatever it's called. Yeah, that does make sense, doesn't it? Maybe it doesn't. I never found these to be all that useful. Or maybe I should purely because I then have a spot where I can go back to, just in case I want to pick up the search sometime. Don't know. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go to this one. I'm sure why I call it awesome stuff. Fair enough. Let's call it workshop. Horror workshop. That's perfect. Horror workshop. Yeah. Yep. And you are now stored. I'm guessing that is also something. What else? I'll grab a few of these so we can just get some inspiration going on. I mean, that's the main point of this. But now I'm looking at, I'm thinking I'm going for a specific like Victorian era. Mr. Hamster, how you doing? Welcome. Hey, hey. What you been up to today? Let's see. I'm just grabbing more reference stuff right now. Oh, that's kind of cool. What else? Oh, going for the mini boss. Cool. What's the theme on that boss? What's the mechanics? What else? Ooh, that is cool. I'm wondering if I'm still in the just cool stuff phase of everything. Grabbing everything I feel like, oh, cool, that's cool. Let's grab that. It's not a bad place to be in, but I want to start finding a uniform look. That's books. I'm going to do that. Do I want to go for this mansion look? I'm not sure if I do. The house needs to be big enough so that it's actually a playable area, right? But at the same time, I don't want it to be a mansion. At least I don't think I want it to be a mansion. I still can't decide on time period. I feel like I'm going back and forth between various designs and themes. Oh, that's a cool designer material. Nice lighting. I think I'm going to pure because of the lighting. Let's grab it. Let's grab that. We're not meant to look at environments. We're meant to find doll stuff. All right, let's try that again. What should we call it though? dolls, fair enough. Handmade, cool. Yeah, let's go with that. Hello. These are a few cool ones. I kind of like that. Some of these do not follow the subtleness I'm looking for. A bit over the top. And some are way too modern, giving off too much of a good time feelings. Is that who I think it is? There's this VTuber I've watched a few highlights from. She's insane, but fun as hell. I think that is a doll of her, or a version of her. Oh, that is creepy. I'm gonna add it. I've already created a board called 19th Century Toys. Let's have a look at that, see what I found. That feels 3D at least. Oh, look at that. Here we go. That is cool. That is probably what I'm going for. Let's open that, see if we can get more from that one. How about that one? Okay. For now, how do I access these things? It's a skeleton archer on platforms above the player. All right. Ooh, that sounds cool. So it's a single archer that moves above the player. That sounds really cool. How do you, as a player, then kind of fight back? Of course, don't give away spoilers, but if there's a height difference, how do you, as a player, potentially harm this creature? Do you go for mechanics, or do you go for like you have ranged weapons that's able to shoot up? So how do I my boards? I'm gonna see all my boards I made throughout the years. Uh, I mean, it's not like it's any company secrets. Mm, which one was it? 19th century misspelled. Didn't I have one? There we go. The Schwab's 196th century toys. You know what? That's going to annoy me, so I'm just going to quickly do that. There we go. Ooh, they are using chakrams. Cool. That's a nice. You don't see that weapon as often anymore. Or maybe not even back. Can't think of a single game from the top of my head where you use chakrams, but that's a cool weapon. Because that is the ring, right? Which is the throwing weapon, isn't it? Effectively a boomerang. How does... Wait. How does that work? I mean, you're not saying it is a boomerang. You're saying it's effectively, meaning it has properties as a boomerang. Boomerangs, as everyone knows, comes back to you. So how does it ring? Because that is what the chakram is. It's a ring, a very sharp one, deadly. But how does that work as a boomerang? Oh, in the game, it acts like more like a boomerang. Okay. But in real life, it wouldn't necessarily be throw it and it will come back to you type of thing. And by the way, I think I was onto something when I was creating this thing. A few of these are really creepy. I'm just going to open all of these to an extent at least. I'm going to grab that. This thing, this is really cool when it comes to colors. That could be really useful. What else? How about we just grab that? That's the weirdest toy I've seen in a long time. All right, cool. Let's head back to this. I picked this because I wanted some books. I think we can look for that another time. But should I add just one image? Remind me of the fact that I wanted this. This is cool. Let's add that. And close this one. Look at this. I mean, this is more porcelain, but it gives me that vibe that I'm looking for. Did I add this? I think I did. Let's see if I did. I did. So we're not going to add this again. It might be too intricate. I'm looking at the alternatives. These are really well made. How about something else? Can we find something else? That is kind of cool. Let's add that. What else do we have? Hmm. Oh. Ooh. I kind of like this. I'm actually going to open that as a new tab. We might find more images related to that type of what would you call it? Hand creation. Um, some of these again, bit too much. Clothes though, I might want that purely on because we are making dolls. At least a few needs clothes. That's the thing. I don't want to spend too much time on clothes because it's very time consuming. It's not my specialty. Never, I think once or twice I make clothes. It kind of depends. I might have to if it fits the final like look I'm going for. If it enhances the art style. But if I can avoid making clothes, I would love to. Purely on the basis it is so time consuming. I'm not feeling any more from these, so yeah. Just click this down. There we go. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we're going for this. I'm just gonna grab a few of these. Here we go. What else? Oh, hello. Oh, dude, look at that. Yeah, I like that. I kind of like this too. What else? So listen to this idea. What if you can find some very small part of the game that tells you about the early days of this guy? Like, oh, when he was 3 years old, he created his first toy, and he's been saving that toy for all his life, or something along those lines. Hmm, that one's kind of cool. Reference. Oh, didn't mean to click it. There we go. What else? That is kind of cool idea having some kind of what do you call it? Animatronics. Is that what it's called? I think it is. You know what? Let's just having some internal organs made. What else? I need to find better blueprints. These are too digital. That is creepy. Uh, might be. Do I need to put like 18 plus on my streams? Purely because of some of these images and future stuff. Maybe I do. That thing is cool. Let's do that. I mean, I don't want to break TOS, and I do want people when they get in here to like to be kind of understanding. Uh, and eventually, I was playing with the idea. I mentioned this earlier. I was out walking yesterday, and I tend to get a lot of ideas while outside walking. And one idea I got was this thought of him experimenting with parts of the human body. I might not have touched on this before. I'm thinking the depravity or the madness, the progression he will be going through is toys, realization that he's alone, he's getting more and more progressively more mad, and when it crescends into the height of his madness, you'll see him working with actual bodies. That's the current lore I'm working with. So the idea of him having these test areas where he's kind of experimenting what he can do with human anatomy. Um, but then again, are we still in that subtle, grounded horror? I guess to an extent we are. I mean, if you really try, you can probably find examples of real life mad individuals who has done similar things, right? Maybe not that fantastic all game world type of stuff, but I don't know. What else? Prosthetics. Probably should look at more prosthetics, right? Like old school prosthetics. This is cool. I'm just gonna add it to workshop. I'm not sure what that is. What else? I'm gonna grab this. I think it's way too close to reality. I want more uncanny stuff. That is kind of uncanny. Looks like a handmade drawing. I like that. And then the idea that he's trying to make a skeleton made of, I guess, wood, because he can't really. I don't think I want him to be able to work with metal, or maybe he experiments with metal stuff. That could be something. Again, I'm trying to figure out how to go into the lore of him progressing into the necessary, within quotation, skills to be able to create creatures, alleviating him his loneliness. So he needs something to talk to. What else do we have? Maybe we've reached end of this particular page. We might have. Yeah. These feels more steampunk-esque, and yeah, I know. Let's actually grab this one. There you go. What else? I did save this. Let's do that. What else? Slow hands. Oh, that's also a thought. What if the trigger to all of this? Yeah, I need a trigger, don't I? Like, why and how did he realize whatever he realized? I'm guessing that he's lonely. When did that actually started to affect him, and why? So we need a trigger, but what would that be? A thought will be him being in an accident or something, realizing when he's hurt and alone. Then when he's hurt, when he doesn't have maybe an arm to work with, then maybe he realizes that he needs help. Well, things are harder now that he's no longer healthy, within quotation, because he's an old man. So he starts to make his own prosthetics, but there's a diary saying, "Hey, I'm realizing I'm actually all alone while I'm working on this prosthetic thing," and that kind of triggers his madness. I need to write these things down. Let's see. You're gonna see me just looking down all the time because I have this thing. We need a pen. So let's just do it. And that leads to a realization. Let's do my scarecrow type of handwriting. Oh, crow feet. It's not scarecrow. Crow feet, isn't it? All right. I feel this page is almost done. We need that. Someone was in this specific mood when they made this thing. Why? This is some artistic stuff that I don't understand. All right, fair enough. Let's grab that one. Perhaps not going too much into details, considering the mood board I'm creating is just that mood board, meaning I don't need details. It's just, hey, remember this thing? These are things that we want. So I might be going too deep into details. So let's go with that. We have enough prosthetic stuff for now. How about this, though? That feels quite time period-esque, doesn't it? Oh, that is so uncanny. I like that. What else? That's a small Napoleon. None of these feels proper. A few might be. If it's a toy maker, maybe I should have something like a toy store where people actually go to, or it's just going to be a toy maker, not a store necessarily. It can be someone who takes accommodations, not accommodations, work from others. Let's go with that. The word is slipping. What else do we have? It is hitting me harder and harder, or it becomes more obvious the idea that going with this theme, that's gonna be a hell of a lot of art stuff needed. Yeah, maybe outsourcing in the future. It's an option because I'm not gonna be able to do all of this by myself within reasonable time, unless I've decided that this is gonna be like a 5-10 year project or something like that. Who knows? Maybe. Uh, what else? I mean, that is not real, is it? That's cool. I like that. Let's grab that. People were made different back then. Whatever time period this is, they were just made different. Differently, I guess is the proper term. Let's grab you. I've seen this monkey, this particular one, going around the internet several times when it comes to this topic. All right, 1 second. I need to be right back. All right, I'm back. What are we looking for more? I'm also realizing I have a bad habit of grabbing parts from my face. I don't know why. I'm scratching my forehead. I'm grabbing my nose all the time. I didn't realize that until I started watching my own VODs. It's like, what? Why am I doing all these things? Those piglets are creepy. Let's grab those. So I'm trying to remember to not do all of these things, but at the same time, I feel like it scratches over here. There's a small thing over there. Just, just keep on doing it. Maybe I should have some kind of redeem that people can click and they can just remind me that idiot, stop touching. Stop touching this. It sounds so bad. I think you get the point though. I need to stop doing those things. Jack in a box, dude, that thing. Hell yeah. Uh, many of these are way too. Well, that is kind of cool in the sense that you can see the damage. Let's grab that. We got ads in about a minute. And I just stretched, so I'm just gonna keep going. But I highly recommend just going up, getting up, and then do some stretches. Life improvement stuff. Holy crap. That is not subtle. Holy shit. Well, imagine walking around a corner and you see this thing. Yeah, let's grab that. That might be too much. I need this thing. Let's go to the next tab. Holy shit. Oh my. Oh my. I'm gonna have nightmares. I'm just realizing also, I'm sometimes start singing along, or at least moving my mouth to the music and start digging into it, like really getting lost in it. And everyone on YouTube side, you can't hear the music, can you? So it's all me just nodding my head up and down, moving my mouth, nothing else. I can't stop though, so YouTube, you have to live with it, unfortunately. Mm, none of these. I think maybe I've been looking too much at these reference imagery. Might have to download a few of these. Oh, we are on ads, so we're gonna have to take a break. All right. Should be back from Twitch, so any moment now. OBS, there you go. All done. Just been scrolling up and down a bit, and I noticed this thing. I mean, I felt like I've seen it all going through all of these, but then this thing came up. What? I'm trying to figure out what's the size of it too, because you have tree bark in the background. I'm not saying it's like the size of a human. That's a pine needle. So that would be roughly this size, right? Maybe slightly smaller in this case. So this is like a hand size. Either way, it's, yeah. Cat Johnston, was that his name? I think it was. These are good. Again, it's not necessarily what I want to be in the shop, but the colors. We do get some nice colors. So I'm going to grab a few of these. That stands out. That is kind of cool. The idea of having this just randomly pop up somewhere. God damn. What is that? I mean, I guess it's meant to be a horse. All right. Let's grab. I think this is as far as we can go. Yeah. I'm just going to have a quick look at the last two, add that to the board. Let's do that. We've already added this to the board, I think. And a ton of others similar to this one. So let's do that. I'm going to update this one. There we go. Now the question is, how do I download these quickly? I'm just going to blur. I don't want you to see all my extensions. Did I delete that? I did. I did remove that extension. Damn it. Now I need it. Darn. What was the name of it again? Let's see if we can't find it. No. No, I don't want to go into code. What else? I don't want to go for image scraper. This one, I'm recognizing that name. Let's try that. So I need to go to manage extensions. I'm going to do this. There we go. I think I've used this one before. Yes. Yeah. Fun part. How about that? What else do I need to do? Okay, I'm just going to try and blur. I am going to blur it one more time. I'm going to see what this does, first of all. Okay, I think we're fine. So I'm experimenting with this extension called Image Assistant Batch, not something. All right, here we go. Image Assistant Batch Image Downloader. What's one hell of a name? Seems like it's still trying to find. Can I do that? Nope, not that. Can I click it? Nope, it's not that. Control? Nope. I just want to deselect it. That is download. Of course it is. Select none. I prefer not to go around clicking if I can. Maybe I can't. It's not finding everything, is it? Is that all the images I've gathered? Does feel like it's not. No, maybe it is. Did we not gather more than this? All right, fair enough. Again, I should be able to. There we go. Okay, removed one. I'm gonna get a few duplicates, but we can fix that. That was a few images of me. Fun. And it looks like we can also go above. What's that? Yes. I think that is fine. And how about that? All right, so it seems to have grabbed all of them. Downloads. Yes, we seem to be fine. So I'm gonna add all of these to the PureRef, which, there it is. Let's do that. Cool. All selected, images, scale, normalize, size. Again, arrange optimal. So we got anatomy. I think that could be more dull. Blueprints. Anatomy. That's a duplicate, so let's remove that. That is blueprint-esque or sketch. Some type of anatomy. A lot of anatomy stuff, but that's kind of what we're going for. So that's fine. That will be random. That is a delete. I'm going to delete these. Why did I gather this? It's more inspiration, I think. Let's remove that. That is more color stuff. Should that be anatomy or doll? I'm not sure. Let's have it as anatomy. Certainly, this is more random. It's more random. This is more house stuff. That one, this one. Cool. Doll, but let's go with this. That will be random. Let's go with random. Let's do that. Let's delete this. That I'm not sure, so we're going to remove it. No. I think I downloaded this one because I liked the mood it had. But I think we can get away with something else. Don't need Pinterest stuff. That is duplicate. That is random. That is random. That is technically doll. Let's go with that. I wonder if there's a repeat action command. Perhaps. Perhaps there is. Where did I? There you go. And I'm assuming that. There we go. All right. For now, that is fine. So let's see. All right. I'm thinking we should probably look at the GDD itself for a while. Let's see. That's not what I meant to do. Did it show up, by the way? I'm curious. No, I didn't. Awesome. I like that. So, GDD. We got the toy maker design document. The toy maker is a like temporary placeholder name. We got the elevator pitch. Through doubt alone, ambiguous events makes players imagine dangers that may not exist. Okay, so design pillars. I think this is the point I need to focus more on. Can I do this? That also hides chat, so no, I can't. All right. And I might want to find a proper extension for black theme. I'm not super fond of the white border around this document. Right. Design pillars. How explicit graphic do you want the human parts revealed to be? So in order to help myself, or help me kind of think of this, is we're going to do... Is it that? Why is the shortcut for normal text apply? I don't like the idea of having too much gore. Again, we're talking about subtle things. And having like a ton of body parts all over the place and blood everywhere, or you name it. I think we're going to keep that to subtle, implicated type of deal. Like we imply the idea of all these things. We're going to show some body parts, I think. Probably. Again, it's not going to like you're going to see the inside of a human body. But we will have something like jars of parts. Yeah. Subtle building to horror, meaning start ambiguous, end with terrible certainty. Oh, I'm doing that again. I think one pillar for me is that why is this so hard to spell? Subtle. That is subtle. Subtle. Oh, god damn it. All right, I'm just gonna copy this thing. God damn. No, we don't want that. Apply. Subtly over spectacular. That's not the word I'm looking for, though. I mean, I keep coming back to that. So in my head, that makes sense as a pillar. There's also the grounded uncanny. I do kind of like that wording, but it feels also as if it's part of the first pillar. But that's probably how pillars work. they do tend to kind of reference each other, creating a whole uniform idea. So grounded, uncanny, makes sense. How many pills do I need? I don't know. Justified paranoia. Players create their own fear, then discover they were right to. So the idea is then, as the player progresses through the game, the paranoia we want them to feel in the beginning is justified. Is that what I want? I don't know. How about I give that a bit more thought? But I do know that I want simplicity. Simplicity. Purely on the basis that I'd like the game to have as simple mechanics and pipeline. Not necessarily pipeline, but workflow pipeline, mechanics, everything needs to have a simplicity to them, purely on the basis that I want nothing to do with too complicated stuff as a solo dev. Some complexity will be necessary, but I want it to remain in a way that in a state where I can work without feeling overwhelmed, if that makes sense. So if I can get away with something being very simple, then yes, I will go with that. So maybe simplicity as a norm or as something, I don't know. I mean, like it says down here, no over-engineered systems. I think that is probably the definition of simplicity in this case. Ambiguity before certainty. Question everything you until you can't anymore. Yeah, I think that is kind of the term I'm going for. How about we just grab that? Do this. Apply. Remove. There we go. What else? Grounded body horror. We're not gonna. I don't like the idea of a focus, even a small part of it, on body horror, but at the same time, every every reference I've gathered so far kind of points to that idea. I'm gonna remove it. Psychological to physical. Fear transitions from imagined to real. That feels more like a story point rather than a pillar in my head. My mind is the term I'm looking for. No. Subtle revelation. Discovery through accumulation, not spectacle. That is kind of what I want to go for. Or is it discovery through accumulation? I mean, I like the idea of accumulating fear points. And by that, I mean the player should, as the game progresses, accumulate fear, feeling more and more uncanny as we go along. Keeping good pacing, of course. Not that I'm super familiar with that, but I do. That's something I want to look at. Question everything into account anymore. Um, Maybe these are my pillars. Subtlety over spectacular spectacles. Grounded, uncanny, meaning everything should have some basis in reality. Or not even some, a lot. Ambiguity before certainty. That means question everything until you can't anymore. That is the definition. What is the definition of ambiguity? I think I looked it up some time ago, but can't remember. QET meaning. Yeah, I have looked it up at some point. Ambiguity, the quality of being open to more than one interpretation. Is that really what it is? Cambridge, what can you give me? Some examples. An example of the fact of something having more than one possible meaning and therefore possibly causing confusion. Mm. Is that what really what I'm going to go with? Ambiguity before certainty. Well, leaving that word aside, I don't want the player to be certain of something, right? You want them to question. So I guess ambiguity makes sense in that context. Let's look at that one more time. Yeah. So ambiguity, I guess, as the context of someone being confused or having a confusing environment to live in or to play in or not play. No, that's not proper either. All right. Either way, ambiguity, it will be there. I'm not going to remove it. And I need kind of go with these questions. Question one: how explicit graphic do you want human parts reveals to be? I mean, I'm just going to do that. No, no, not at all. Is the toy maker alive and a threat, or is this discovering his past crimes? So that is a fork in the road, a crossing, if you want, for me. I could go, I think the more interesting one will be if the toy maker was alive. However, or at least it would be more threatening. I think it is a more it's an easier way to create threat, if that makes sense. If you have something or someone walking around with the intention of harming you, that is an easy way to say, hey, this is a threat. But if I remove that, removing within quotation obvious threats, and then add on top of that the idea of some grounded, uncanny, the subtleness I'm talking about, and everything being simple, then what is the threat, the fear the player will feel? I think that is probably the biggest challenge, how to create a feeling of threat using these kind of lukewarm horror contexts or concepts. So the idea for this one, or the answer for this question would be: it's we discovering his past based on my pillars. That would be we discovering his past, right? Okay, fair enough. Do you want the entire game to be ambiguous, or is the reveal meant to be holy? What is this recontextualize? Meant to recontextualize everything, meaning this is my translation of this question. That is, should I ever give the player a certain answer to anything? I mean, at least to the big question of the game. Like, what happened to the toy maker? Is he still alive? Why, or maybe why is more, why he did things should be more obvious. I think that should be revealed as you go along. But more like, is he still alive? What happened? That might be also be something. What happened to this guy? If he's not alive, what happened? That kind of depends on how we start the lore, the game. Let's say, for example, if I decide to start the game as a modern, in a modern setting, but taking place in an old abandoned house, or in this case, a workshop, then the context will be maybe 50 years has gone by since this house was left alone. Therefore, no toy maker. He's not alive. So the answer to whether or not he's still alive is gone. It's already answered. He's not alive. So that is more of a certainty. You're certain he's no longer a threat because of the time period. But what else? What else is then there to fear in this? I guess it should be always ambiguous. And my reasoning is that one inspiration source I've had for this idea of grounded uncanny or grounded fear or grounded horror is the like, why are people interested in going into haunted houses and these ghost hunter type of esque of TV series? And the reason is big part of that, I believe, has to do with the mystery of people not knowing what actually is happening. There's no clear certain answer to, does ghosts exist? It's a mystery. Or does poltergeists or supernatural stuff, do they exist? But the challenge, how do you translate the horror people can feel being in a haunted house to a video game? Because you're not physically at the location of a haunted house. You're in your house or at your desk between walls, cozy, warm, and probably have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Like, there's a different context. So how do you add? Hmm. I mean, I'm sure SFX, sound effects is a big deal. Visuals, of course, needs to be at a certain level. So the answer to the third question then is, do you want the entire game to be ambiguous, or is the reveal meant to recontextualize everything? I'm just going to write down ambiguous for now. Purely looking at my pillars, the answer would be ambiguous. Ambiguity before certainty tells me, yeah, it should be ambiguous. Does this change how you think about your USP, which is the what was it again? Unique selling point. The USP, which currently emphasizes no external threats. I mean, it's going to be a fun challenge to figure out how to scare people without threatening them using external stuff. I mean, it could be events similar to falling stuff, old abandoned house, therefore dilapidated, therefore things could break, right? That could be something. It is grounded in reality, though we're looking at probabilities. It will be very low to things for free. Things just don't break on you, just like that. Does this change the USP? Let's see. What's the USP again? The unique selling point is the game creates fear through doubt alone. Ambiguous events make players imagine dangers that may not exist. I mean, I had may. I think that is important. And the final part is without clear external threats, again, clear, could be ambiguous, players generate their own fear through paranoia in an uncanny yet realistic environment. I think we're doing fine with that. So the answer to the final question is no, it doesn't change the USB. So based on all those answers to these 4 questions and looking at my design pillars, I think we're done. I think this could be enough. Considering whether or not I should add some extra context to these. Subtlety over spectacles. What does that mean? First word I'm thinking of is gentle for some reason. I'm not sure why. Something along those lines, gently introduce players to ambiguous events instead of fantastical, supernatural visuals or similar. This is as hard as actually making the game. I am not by any means a writer. I think just to put into context how rusty and unskilled I am as a writer, this part, which is, I don't know, how many words are these? Let's just see. Format, no insert, no tools, spelling, no word count, display. I'm not sure why that is always unticked. This is 101 words. This took me 4 hours to write this part. Sure, I went through a lot of iterations, going back and forth. I even stepped away from the computer at one point purely because I felt so stuck in my ways of thinking. But still, it took me 4 hours for this. So, yeah. So, subtlety. So, I think it has to do with implicit. Implicit. Is that the word? Is that how you spell it? It isn't, is it? Implicit. I'm just going to. Threat. This is not a proper word, like sentence. I'm just writing something like implicit scenarios. That's not even close to correct. Of threat and what? Events? Implying? Maybe it's proper. Implying fear or threats over obvious. Why is that wrong? Over obvious. Why is this so hard? I'm just gonna write down scenarios. How is that? Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewrite that completely. Implicit, there you go. See, I can't spell. To my defense, this is my second language. And it doesn't help that I'm terrible with grammar in my native language. I didn't really focus on grammar when I was in school. You can get by in life without proper grammar. I can admit that. and I see reality is what it is, but I highly recommend, if you have the energy and time, do spend it on, honestly, spend it on learning proper grammar and how to spell. It's, at least if you're considering creating documents and similar content for others to read, then it makes more sense. You can probably sell an idea a lot better if you're able to write properly. What you want to avoid, I guess this is what I'm trying to say, what you want to avoid is people to be drawn out or removed from what they're reading by breaking the immersion. There is immersion reading to stuff. And if players or players, if readers all of a sudden see a misspelling or improper grammar, they will have to like look twice or stop and think at what they just experienced. If they have to do that, that will take them out of the reading. Then again, you may argue, hey, it's just a document. It's not meant to be interesting to read. And I see the point. Counter argument is that if you're trying to convince someone, the last thing you want them to do is to focus on a improper words or sentence or spelling. Just saying. And I'm just rambling, yapping. Grounded uncanny. We're looking at something along of connections to reality. Context should be, I don't like the word grounded. Can we find another word for it? Synonyms. 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 I hate that word. I can't spell it for the life of me. It's always misspelled. Grounded. What do you have to tell me? Thesaurus. Thesaurus? Thesaurus? Grounded. Aware. Okay. Synonyms. Alive? I'm not certain about that. Appreciative, apprehensive, attentive, awake, cognizant, conscious. Wait, what? Really? Muhammad, how you doing? It's been a while. That timing tells me we have ads on Twitch. So, yes. How you doing, Muhammad? I'm doing great, thank you. How do you do, by the way? Just so you know, Muhammad, we just started ads on Twitch side, and I have to stretch my legs. Just poor timing. But I'll be back in like a minute. So hang on a bit, and I'll see you all in a minute. All right, we're back. We're back. Got another 15 seconds left of ads. You doing well? I'm glad to hear, Mohammed. How's school, by the way? Is things going well for you? All right. Welcome back, Twitch. We are done with ads. So, Grounded Uncanny. I'm just going to do the same as I did with its sentence above. Just write down based in realism instead of, no, that's not what I want, is it? Based on realism and living in the valley of the uncanny. Holy shit. That sentence. That sentence. There we go. So the idea was as that we grounded as in, hey, look at what is possible in reality and make sure it's not thing in the realms of supernatural. Comes back to subtlety over spectacles, right? But uncanny meaning in the sense that we do have. So the uncanny valley, I'm not sure how many are aware of this. Let's see, 1 second. But that. This looks horrendous. We need to do this. We need to do that. So there we go. So uncanny. Ooh, I'm just gonna borrow this from everyone else. But I'm just going to do this. I have an artistic tool, so I can do this and waste everyone's time. There we go. That's not better at all. Either way, there we go. Uncanny Valley. So the idea with the Uncanny Valley is as you go further up towards realism, spelling, come on, realism, holy shit. So you would start out down here at the bottom, right? That is the stylized, the people can tell this is not even close to reality or based in reality. But as you progress, as you improve the realistic look of something, you will eventually come to a point where you reach like a peak for some reason. But this is not the peak of realism. This is just a peak where people like starting to look at what you're doing and say, hey, are you trying to make something realistic? And then all of a sudden it just goes down and then it goes back up again. And I can't remember. I do believe it was within robotics. A I'm probably not correct on this, but I believe he's a Japanese robotics engineer. He coined the term uncanny valley because when he saw as they were working towards their goal of realism, eventually at some point it went from stylized, kind of endearing but not realistic into this valley down here where people saw you're trying to make something realistic. I don't like what I'm watching. It's unsettling. It went from endearing stylized to unsettling realism. But eventually, as you improve, you'll eventually end up back into, okay, I'm starting to like this again. And it's real. So I'm guessing this will be endearing or something. No, it's not really proper. Neither way. The point is that this is the uncanny valley because it's a valley on a graph. And that is what we're trying to aim for. It should look as if someone's trying to make something real, but it looks not stylized or real. It just looks weird. I did well in the first semester. Awesome. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. It says you didn't do well. Is that what it's saying, Mohammed? But you are getting a second chance. Am I reading that right? Well, sometimes you need to, or need, just keep it up. I think you'll do well. You've proven that you have the ambitions and the brains for it. So just keep it up. Don't give up. You'll do well as long as you don't give up. All right. I'm just going to do this. You didn't do well, but you have a second chance. Yeah. All right. Well, good luck, Mohammed. Really, I am rooting for you. So keep it up. You're welcome. Okay. So ambiguity before certainty, which would be something along the lines of never give a certain, ignore the misspelling for now, never give a certain answer. Thank you. Autocorrect. Never give, oh God, that's so annoying, a certain certainness, and that's not correct. Certainness, it means something else in this context. Certain, never give, uh, never give certain, and it's not correct. That's so wrong because that means something else. Never give. I'm trying to say exact or proper or how about this? Leave. Let's do that. Leave the player questioning. How about that? their experiences. About that. I think that's good. You're already doing a lot of stuff in this second one now. Okay. Well, the thing about school, the one thing I remember about school, I should say, when it came to pacing, unfortunately, if you lag behind, you miss a exam or you weren't able to turn in a paper in time, whatever it is, things pile up, unfortunately, and all of a sudden you'd had to kind of spend more time just trying to keep up. Hamster, am I streaming on YouTube also? Yes, I am, which is why I'm currently having a discussion with Muhammad, and which might be confusing for people on Twitch if they're not aware of me streaming on YouTube. I'm not, so I've been considering adding a combined chat. The thing is, I have two reasons why I'm not doing it. One reason, the first reason is I'm not super fond of the idea of having a scrolling chat taking up visual space on the screen, if that makes sense. I would rather have people having like unobscured look at everything that's going on. The second one is that there was an update some time ago from Twitch side. Since Twitch is my main platform, and I believe haven't seen anything indicating they've removed this. They don't like the idea of having combined chat because they want a streamer on Twitch to focus mainly or mostly on the Twitch viewer experience rather than some kind of combined thing. And apparently they view combined chat as lowering the experience for Twitch viewers. I think that's their argument. So yeah, I think there's against some, not necessarily TOS, or maybe it is. Either way, they do not want us to combine chat. That's my takeaway. Mohammed, you are attending all your classes, and you passed all your exams in the first semester, I assume. But wait, what does that mean? What does it mean that you passed all exams, but it wasn't successful? How does that make sense? Can you expand a bit on that, Mohammed? If you're passing your exams and you're going to all your classes, why aren't you passing the semester? Maybe I misread something. Yes, and Mohammed says hi to Twitch. Gotcha. Listening to music in the background, I suggest Sanctuary Battle Angels. Well, Sanctuary made me really love them. If that's not a proper sentence, but I really liked them last time you recommended, so why not? Why not? Sanctuary. What was it? Battle Angels. Let's do that. To be honest, as much as I love Rammstein, we're gonna skip this one. Maybe I made a mistake there. I was meant to go to Battle Angels. Play next. So how about that? There we go. Ooh, it's a bit low, isn't it? Don't want to increase the volume too much. How about that? I noticed this last time too. It's just I mean, it is from that time, but it's so 80s metal. I love it. Cobbler, hey, how you doing, man? It's been a while. What you've been up to? Oh, I think we had a short discussion of that on Discord, right? You have a new assignment, if I'm not mistaken. Hamster, yeah. It is quite 80s. But I'm glad you can make it, Cobbler. I was kind of worried that I used to have another schedule, and a lot of people who joined me at that point, like later in the day, couldn't join me now that I've swapped it up back to an old schedule. So I'm glad you can make it. All right, design pillar number 4, simplicity. I'm kind of thinking that says itself. I'm just going to do this. Do not over engineer. Engineer. I can't spell that word at all. That's not even close, is it? I knew there was 2 double E's at some point. Do not over engineer systems or anything else. That's such a toddler sentence. Let's see. Mohammed, you do everything necessary. You attend all the classes, all the exams. You write all the answers, and even if that's hard, I'm sure of it. The pass, and you okay. So I get it that you're doing everything necessary, everything, attending class, everything, but there's still something not really working out. I recognize myself in that scenario. Um, the thing I had issues with back in school, the thing that I really struggled with, like especially for higher education, like college, was the feeling when you did everything you could do, you did everything you were expected to do and everything, but you still didn't pass. Then you ended up in this scenario where you're not sure what to do, right? Like you feel like, well, I'm doing everything right. What's going on? And usually the answer to that, to be honest, is you might be doing everything asked of you, but you're not doing it in a way that allows you to pass, if that makes sense. So I'd stick with it, but try to change a few things. I mean, attendance, of course, you should do that. And you should always turn exams in. You should always do what they're asking you. But look at how you're doing it. I think that might be a clue to why you're not getting everything you deserve, which is a passing of the first semester. Maybe what you're turning in doesn't hold the standards that you can accomplish and they expect. So you might just have to look at how am I studying? How am I writing? Should I study a bit more on the side, something else? Just swap it, try something else for a while. Yeah, like Hamster was saying, don't get discouraged. Just don't give up. Just keep on trying. Yeah, exactly. Cobbler, yeah. Let's see. It's supposed to be off at Friday, but it will work after. You're supposed to be off on Fridays, but you have another 3 hours you need to do today. Uh, that sucks. You were distracted too. Um, I'm assuming, Mohammed, you're referring to you felt discouraged, not distracted. I don't think that's a proper word in this term, but I get the gist of what you're trying to say. Uh, yeah, but just keep it up, Mohammed, and don't worry about if you're feeling down. If you don't pass, it's not because of you being a bad person. That's the very first thing you can remember. You are capable of this. You are capable of doing things. It's just that the road to accomplishing anything is full of moments where things just doesn't go your way. That goes for everyone. Everyone goes through that. There's a saying, and I'm going to butcher this a bit, but take the context and the idea of it with you instead of me saying this improperly, right? So the idea of this saying is the master isn't the one who's capable of doing everything correct the first time or any time. A master is someone who's made all the mistakes and learned from it. Again, I'm butchering that saying, but the idea is that even the best of the best has gone through all the ups and downs, but they come out on the other side better for it because they learn something from all the mistakes or all the failures. So don't look down on yourself. Keep your chin up, as they say. Look forward and learn from your mistakes in the past. Look forward and just keep going. You can do it. You have a lot of goals. Prioritize them. If you feel overwhelmed by the number of goals, prioritize them. Make sure you have the first 2 or 3 should always be prioritized. So do things for those goals first. And if you have time and energy left for 4, 5, and 6, then you do those, but prioritize. Cobbler, I had to record 30 translation for the film. Ooh, all right. But at the moment we got 12. Ooh, that's another 18. Okay. So I'm getting that you have a lot of outsourcing. You're working with outsourced talent or professionals. So they make mistake. You have to get back to them and say, hey, how about this? We come to my stream to talk about our problems. That's perfectly fine. I'm more than happy to be like a wall for you to vent a bit, as long as you're respectful. But you always respect, so it's fine. Mohammed, wise words, so thank you. No, you're welcome, Mohammed. Again, just keep at it. Don't get discouraged. You've shown me many times that you're sound of mind and you'll be able to do this. It's just a matter of just doing it. But don't just run ahead too fast. Just take a step back, look at what we've done, and realize, all right, so I did everything I thought I had to do over the past month to get to pass this thing. It didn't work. Okay. So what now? What is it that I did the past month that didn't work out the way I expected it to do? And that might be how you study, the number of hours. Usually it's not the number of hours, I would say. If you're already putting like 3-4 hours a day, then adding another 2 hours might just likely not going to help. So it's more like how you study. So I will look at that. Now, of course, look at what you've done that worked. That's also important. Maybe even more important to remember. You appreciate it? Yeah, absolutely, Cobbler, no worries. Is Muhammad still walking? Well, why don't we ask him? Muhammad, Cobbler is still wondering if you're still out on that walk you mentioned. That many months now back. But I believe you're in school at college. You probably have stopped wandering around. Hamster. When I was in high school, I fell out of geometry. 22 years later, I went to college. I fell out of geometry again. I was devastated. Been there, done that. So I feel you. That class cost you 2K. Ooh, and I had to spend another 2K to take it again. But you got to be at the third time. There you go. That is never give up, right? Then that's life. It's also very American to to mention how much class costs. I've never spent money on class apart from external classes, but those were like online or maybe some private class. But I've never taken it in college or anything like that. So it's a different lifestyle. But then again, hey, there's an upside. And honestly, there is an upside to paying for stuff. And here's one. If you invest money into something, chances are you'll take it more seriously. I'm not saying it's absolute. It's not black and white. but increases the chances that this is something I've invested more than just time and attention to. Now we have money involved, and now I really want to make this happen. So there is an upside to big spendings in that sense. There's a lot of downsides, of course, but there's a gradient to everything, right? So yeah, but that's a good story, by the way, Hamster. Just put into perspective. It might take 22 years for one thing in your life to succeed, but then you have a lot of other things that could actually just get through it. Infermigo, well, thank you for the oh god, that thing, I forgot that existed. Oh, it's so terrible. It's such a terrible emote. I made that, by the way. It's terrible though. I don't even know if people know what it is. Cobbler knows because I had to explain to him what that is. But I don't think others know what the hell that is. I was in customer service prior to college. I got my bachelor degree, and I now have movie/TV credits and tripled my customer service income. There you go. Cobbler, rich people, they will not care if they did spend it. So I partially agree with you. I think that your financial level, and it's relevant or relative to where you are in life and what that is. You will always have something you spend money on that you don't care about. I mean, look at the amount of money I spend on coffee, for example. For some, that will be insane, but I just don't care, right? Because it doesn't affect me financially that hard. And of course, for people with a lot of money, that will maybe be, oh, I can buy 10 cars a year. It doesn't really matter, right? It's all relative. But I do believe that people with a lot of money are very much aware of their spendings. And that is partially why they have a lot of money, because they know where their money goes, why they should spend the money. I think they're more aware of, they're not smarter necessarily, but they are more aware of what their money is going to and why they should spend it. And Infermo, good morning to you, sir. How you doing? God, I was just watching that emote again. All right, so context. I need to give context to that thing. I usually drink my water in this metal thing. I'm not sure if it comes through. Probably not. And I mentioned this to chat. This is probably, I don't know, 4 months ago. And someone said, so you're getting extra iron in your water, all along those lines. So like, yeah, I guess so. It became an inside, I'm not sure if joke is this, that might be a bit too generous, but it's just an inside thing. So I decided, you know what, let's just make an emote of a can of a beer, a glass of beer glass with water in it, and the chemical term for the iron. That's the orange part in that emote. So it's terrible. You can't tell what it says. Yeah, that is the story. Not a big deal. People who go from poverty to wealth got there by being good with money. Exactly. Yeah, like Colby said, I agree with that. Yeah. In the end, that is, but honestly, apart from inheriting money, although even then it's not an absolute, I think that people who has a lot of money, the majority of them, or at least a large portion of them, have, I'm going to use a better understanding. I'm not sure if that is even the correct term, but they have a better understanding of the usage and the how to use money. But I think that goes for anything. If someone is good with using resources in any category, in any type of discipline, they have an understanding of that resource or of that discipline that others usually don't have, like more than average, if that makes sense. What is this? Money, 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 money. Mr. Crab. Yes, you have Mr. Crab. I stopped walking around for a while. I think I will do it when I look for work in the summer. Okay, so There you go, cobbler. Mohammed has only temporarily stopped his wandering. Probably going back in the summer. Maybe because he have expert think for him. I mean, sometimes you need external help. Just like I, at some point, asked chat about ideas. Oh, you're heading to bed? Yes, good night, hamster. I'm glad you could join us, though. So hope to see you next time, which will be on Monday. I stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. So weekends are off. So, yeah. Good night, sir, and have a good evening. All right. Design pillars. Oh, everyone, please do check out Hamster. He's been an amazing guy. This is only the second time he joins us, but he's been amazing. And he has a background in movies. I highly recommend to join him just to get to know his background. It's fascinating. I believe you have an IBDM. That's the right term, right? So everyone, please join him. And again, have a good night, Hamster. Um, there you go. Can I do this, by the way? I'm going to try something. Does that work? I think that works. Oh, up. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Awesome. By the way, Cobbler, have you decided to go back to streaming yet, or are you still feeling overwhelmed with your current job? I should do this, though. There we go. I still walk every 23 kilometers if there's a bus, and if there's no bus, no train, 41 kilometers every weekend. Oh. You're like, what's his name? That's a poor comparison. But you do walk a lot, Mohammed. I mean, 23 kilometers or 41. I think my average each day is somewhere between 6 and 8. So you're way ahead of me on that point, that part. You're way too busy, and you're planning to stream soon. Yeah, there you go. Well, I do want you to get back to streaming. So I hope you have the time at some point. But I do also understand life, right? IRL stuff. That is, if you're not like if streaming isn't your professional, then IRL needs to get a priority. That is just how it works. All right, last sprint. Design pillars. I mean, look at this. Okay, I'm yapping again. But you love your work. I'm really glad for you. Not everyone does that, so I'm really glad you do love your work. And that's the best part. If you can spend time, even though you're stressed, on something you love, I think that is probably. I'm going to use the word privilege, not in a negative term, though. I think it is. It's a great thing. So I'm glad for you. You found the heart button. Yeah, I see that. Throwing around all the hearts over on YouTube. There you go. So this is what I have for my design pillar or design document. And I mentioned this earlier. I spent like 4 hours on this part alone. And now, although I've been slightly distracted by chat, I've spent probably an hour purely on this one. So, and it's terribly written. Like all the implicit scenarios of threat and events over obvious scenarios. What the hell does that mean? I know. Does anyone else know? I don't know. What is this? This is the GDD or game design document I'm writing for a pitch. It's all personalized, so no one's going to see this other than Twitch and stream, right? So I'm not going to send this over to a publisher. It's just all for me. But I'm creating this game that I'm currently calling the Toy Maker. It's a horror game, and my pitch is this. Step into the disturbed mind of an old man and toy maker who has realized that his lifelong artistic obsession has left him all alone. You, the player, will discover what loneliness has compelled him to create. These creations reflect their maker's mind, are seemingly alive, even aware of your presence. You cannot fight back, you are alone, and you are being watched. That is my pitch. And then I have something called unique selling point. I found this through a YouTube video. The idea of adding this, just as a bit more context to the pitch itself. So the unique selling point is the game creates fear through doubt alone. Ambiguous events make players imagine dangers that may not exist. Without clear external threats, players generate their own fear through paranoia in an uncanny yet realistic environment. So to summarize, I want to create a game which has less of the spectacles or the supernatural events. So no monsters, no warping of reality. Everything will be based on what could happen in reality, or at least an emphasis on that. I might add a bit of gamification just to make them interesting. But the main inspiration from this is just haunted houses. What do you feel when you walk into a haunted house in real life? You have that overwhelming feeling of something being there, or it's pitch dark. You feel there's something unsettling about being in old houses. I've been in a few. It's really unsettling. But also, what do you feel when you're alone in the forest? There's more obvious dangers in the forest. You have animals. You have natural stuff happening. But imagine you walking through a forest and there's no animals around you. You don't know that, but that is the scenario, right? You're not in danger by anything necessarily, but you don't know that. So you're becoming your worst enemy. You're finding threats that don't exist, but it's all in your head, right? So I want to emphasize that. And what I've been working on today, apart from gathering a ton of reference images, is that I've written down or decided on my design pillars. And the first one is subtlety over spectacles. Back to what I just said, is I want things to be subtle. I don't want this obvious supernatural effects, over the top effects, right? I just want things to be, did that happen or not? Just having players question what they're experiencing. And grounded uncanny, I'm sure everyone's by now is familiar with the uncanny valley concept, meaning things try to look realistic, but there's something missing. We don't know what, but there's something missing. And I wanted to be grounded in reality. So again, no spectacles. So the threats isn't real, but do you think real threats can be not physically? But do you think real threats can be enough? Like you're saying something along the lines of your inner monologue with yourself, or your paranoia somehow becomes a threat to your health, life, something along those lines. So I'm still a bit. I've left a little bit wiggle room for that. It's not real thing. I did write it here somewhere. Like seemingly alive, or maybe even aware of your presence, or um, something along those. You cannot fight by you're alone. You're being watched. So it's more of, I'm going to have to gamify it a bit. I can't really replicate life perfectly, because then it's likely will become a walking simulator. I don't want that. I want something to threaten you, of course. I mean, when you say you're being watched, this can be real, but not physical. Um, it kind of needs to be real if it's physical, but I guess the sense is that, or are you referring to maybe supernatural stuff like old guys, ghosts will actually look at you and watch you? Maybe you are being watched is not the right term then. Maybe it should be something else. Uh, Again, in the back, there shouldn't be in my head any external threats. Does that make sense? Okay, you believe things are real but cannot be physical. Um, in my head, if that sentence tells me, or I think of ghosts as something that falls into that explanation, that description, if that makes sense. Um, I'd like to imply the existence, if that makes sense. I don't want there to be an obvious, all of a sudden there's a ghost in front of you. Or, oh, there flew a canister of paint across the room. Oh, gins. Okay, I've heard of that. I'm not super familiar what that is. I know that it's, I connect those to what we call ghosts here in the western part of the world. I think it's, or Europe or Americas. So Jinn, Ghost, kinda go hand in hand. They're both supernatural. I mean, if that is, if you go through my game, you're thinking maybe there's jinns or ghosts in the game, and you get scared because of that, then I've succeeded. Then I've like done something good. I'll see you, Mohammed. I'm ending this soon, Mohammed, just so you know. I have to go to work at 9, so I'm ending this in like 15, 20 minutes. You might not see me when you get back, but I'll see you again maybe on Monday. Either way, good luck, class. Have a great day. All right. Can we make this design pillar section better? Because right now it's horribly written. Based in realism. So grounded uncanny is based in realism and living in the value of living in the valley. It's not value, valley. Meaning it's part of the is that right? It's not right, is it? It's like that. Meaning it's meant to find things to be that fits in that uncanny valley, but it's part of realistic uncanny valley stuff. We don't believe dead people with spirit can roam around. We believe evil creatures can be there. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe that will be closer to a poltergeist then. Can jinns affect physical stuff? Like, can they move things, or are they just a presence of evil? Yes, they can move stuff. Then I think that is close to what the poltergeist, what we call the poltergeist. I'm just gonna have to look that up. Yes. So this is what it says. A ghost or other supernatural being supposedly responsible for physical disturbances, such as making loud noises and throwing objects around. That is the, according to Google, at least, the definition of a poltergeist, or a explanation of what a poltergeist might be. So does that kind of fit what a jinn might be? Maybe you should look that up. Jinn, is that how you spell it? Or meaning depending on origin. Okay, it is a commonly Chinese surname. Okay, meaning gold. I don't think that's what we're looking for. Is Jin a demon? In modern tales, the term has two ends. That makes sense. Okay, let's just start with that. Oh, as long as, okay, so that might be the big difference then. In Arabian or Muslim mythology, an jinn is an intelligent spirit of lower rank than the angels, able to appear in human and animal forms. So it could be human apparently, but might not be human from the very beginning. Is that how it works? Spirit that could take the forms, okay, or appearance, and to possess humans. Okay, okay, that's interesting. Uh, it's the term djinn or the idea of a djinn will not really fit though, because it would be supernatural, at least from my perspective. I believe that is supernatural, and I think a lot of people agree with that. Shapeshifters, I guess. Oh yeah, yeah. That's kind of close to what shapeshifter would be. Although, are shapeshifters considered pure, like, storybook creatures, like Harry Potter, things like that, or fantasy? Do we? Are there people who consider shapeshifters to actually exist? Bad news, no professor. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, that means you have time to study by yourself then, Mohammed, right? I'm sorry that you have no professor, though. Hope it doesn't affect your negative, any grades or something like that. They are made from fire and made from clay, fire and clay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. Oh. Um, I think it would be easy for me to restructure these sentences off stream. I am slightly distracted while on stream. Don't destroy that button, Mohammed. All I see on YouTube sites are hearts flying around. All right. So if we're assuming I have the base for my design pillars at this stage, next thing we would like to look at are the core mechanics. Again, I'm using this example I found online. I can't remember the name of the YouTuber. I might be able to find it if I really look, but unfortunately I can't find him. He gave this example document for free, so you can just download it. We can actually have a look. Is his name in this, by the way? I think it is. So from this, I've picked out all of the points he's pointing out, right? And I think this part is what we're going for right now. It was great to catch you up on your in your stream, but I have to go now. All right, Cobbler, it's nice to see you again. Take care, and yeah, I hope to see you on Monday in the next one. So core system mechanics should be the next one then. Could probably just copy paste, but need to practice. Would this be number 2? I think it is. Normal text, no. Heading to. Why is that normal text? Why are you normal text? Doesn't make no sense. Format, text, capitalization, uppercase. There you go. Perfect. So what are core mechanics? That is something I've always struggled with. System built off your design pillars. System mechanics should translate gameplay that creates experiences aligning with your design pillars. That's all fair. That makes total sense. It doesn't help. Have your fingers gotten stuck on the emote button, Mohammed? You're just spamming it right now. Okay, so things that are mechanics that fit my design pillars. What would that be? I mean, some of the things the player will do, but these are just movements. Like walking is one thing, right? That's not a mechanic. It will be also interacting with things, such as picking them up, rotate, read, open, and so on. But what else would they do? If you take a game such as Amnesia, which is one of my inspirations for this game, you would also have a lantern or light. And I was considering for a while a wrong one. Don't worry about it, Mohammed. I was considering going for what Amnesia is it the bunker? Is that what it's called? Or just Amnesia Bunker? Where you had a light you had to crank up because it's, yeah, well, it turns itself off, if that makes sense. Crankable? No, not crankable. Need to crank. These sentences are terrible, just so you know. I'm just taking notes right now. What else, though? Core system mechanics. I'm not sure these are system mechanics. That's the thing. And I'm considering, should we have like puzzles? Right? Because all I have in my head right now is just you walking around experiencing the environment, but that's not fun. What's making this fun and interesting? Puzzles. What else? Fetch quests. Yeah, fetch quests, meaning you have to find something. Oh, you realized, oh, the basement key isn't up in the attic for some reason, not sure why. So you need to fetch the key in order to get down to the attic. Fallout Shelter? Not sure about the context, Mohammed. You're referring to like an inspiration for the game? Fallout Shelter is a mobile game, isn't it? And not that that is an issue, but it's more like I don't know how that fits. It's a good game. Fair enough. Fair enough. I personally never played it. I've heard things about it, which makes me believe that it's mixed reviews, I would say. PC and mobile. There you go. Okay. Are you playing that now rather than Minecraft? Have you stopped playing Minecraft for now? Okay. It's 8:45 almost, and I have a timer saying that we have ads in like 3 minutes. I don't want to do another ad, wait another 3 minutes just to end the stream directly after ads. So I'm thinking we should probably end it right here, right now. PC is paid. Oh, that's unfortunate. So, yeah, usually this is the times I do stream. I stream between 6 a.m. and 8:45-ish or 9 a.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I'm going to work more on the design doc off stream. So the weekend will likely have a lot more progress than what I've done right now. We did, though, however, manage to find a lot of references, giving me some inspiration source into what I like to see. And a lot of these, I think we can get somewhere with this. We do have like the type of environment we're looking for. I made some few notes. Figure out that PureRef has a lot of cool stuff, cool new features I've never seen before. So that is great. But yeah, this is at least for the next week, probably the big focus of this stream. So if you like these things, if you like to get here, be here and watch me do a design doc or watch me gather references, maybe even share some inspiration of your own or ideas, please do. I love to listen to you. Questions are also all welcome. So yes, that is my stream for the next week or so. I'd like to make it faster, get into the main nit and grit of it, but it is what it is. I like to have this done and proper so that once I get into it, once I decide to spend the next half year, maybe even a year on this, I want a clear idea of where I'm going. Yeah, so on Twitch side, ignore what the Every Kindle bot just said. We're not going to watch the ads. They're starting in like 50 seconds or so. Yeah, Mohammed, please share it on Discord. And that's another thing. We can talk about Discord next stream. But you know what's happening in March. They are doing stuff. I need to look more into it before I make up my mind. So either way, as we almost start soon, I'm gonna end it here. Uh, I hope to see you all on Monday, 6 a.m. my time, which is Central European Standard Time. So everyone, have a good day, good weekend, and I hope to see you all. So, bye bye. Is it not working? I don't think it's working. All right, bye bye.